YouTube, who needs the moon when you have a superstar on the electronic couch of the Life Game Show? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the man, the longest running member of Power, Shane Johnson. You guys know him, aka Cooper Saxe. Mr. Shane, how you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be
Great,
here.
great to have you. And of course, when the celebs come out, I got to give you the red carpet treatment. So you get the Hollywood ovation. Here you go.
Easy.
That's one smile done already. That's one good smile we've gotten from you, my man. So talk to me, Shane. How did you get your journey in acting started? I think it's very fair to say from the people that love you in Power, there's a term they use in the comments where they say that a villain or a bad guy can be an anti-hero. I think you're one of the foremost anti-agonists in a story that we've seen. So just talk to me about how you got into acting and what got you started.
Yeah, well, when I was a kid, I thought I was going to be a baseball player. That's what I really wanted to do. Um, and then, but I always liked to entertain. And my favorite, when I was really young, my passion was dancing actually.
Mhm.
And I got really into breakdancing. And
Oh,
I don't know how old you are, but there were a couple of movies. Break Into Electric Boogaloo was one of them, which
look,
is an awesome movie. That's where like Turbo and Ozone and stuff like that.
right.
And then it just blew my mind watching those guys dance and watching Michael Jackson coming up, being a fan of his.
Oh,
And, you know, uh, I just fell in love with dancing. And I think what it really was is the art of just like performing and making people happy and finding an expression that wasn't just like there right away, but that you had to like put some of your heart and soul into to bring to life. So that's was my entree into the arts. And then when I was like 14, um, people just kind of were like, dude, you have to do these. You have to do a play. You've got to go audition for this, for something. And
right.
so I went and I auditioned for the school play.
Okay.
I lived in a little tiny farm town. And at the time, I was like, I was living in a trailer park, you know what I mean? In the
Right.
middle of Washington State. No, but nobody was an actor from there. And so it wasn't like I was thinking, oh, I'm going to go be a star. It was like, okay, fine, I'll go audition for this play. And I told the director, I don't want to have any lines because I don't
Mm,
want to. I'll do your stupid play, but I don't want to have to talk because I was just embarrassed. I was nervous. And so I did. My first play was Your Good Man Charlie Brown,
oh.
and I played Snoopy's cousin, Tumbleweed, and I would just all I would do because he wasn't actually in the play. They just sort of, all right, Shane doesn't want to say anything, so
Mhm.
I just would roll across the stage like a tumbleweed once in a while, and it was
Oh.
ridiculous. And then 3 days before the show opened, the guy that was playing Snoopy got kicked out, and the,
Mhm.
and the director looked at me and was like, Shane, we need you, man. You got to do this. We open in 3 days. And so I was like, I didn't really have the ability to say no. So anyway, I did Snoopy, and the response from the audience and just the expression, the way it made me feel, the girls, the whole thing. It was I was hooked. Now I thought I was awesome, right? And I was like, oh
Right.
my God, I'm really good at this. And then maybe about 10 years ago or so, I saw a VHS tape of it. I was terrible. I was, I was terrible. I mean, but that being said, I didn't know at the time. I mean, I guess the expectation was pretty low or something,
You
but
was a young guy. You was pretty young when you
yeah, I
done
was
that,
young.
right?
I was like 13, 14. And
Yeah.
then I just really developed into a really good actor. By the time I graduated from high school, I got a full ride scholarship to go study. I studied at a liberal arts college, actually the same college that Leela went to, who plays
Oh,
Angela. We
yeah.
both went to Whitman College in Walla Walla, Washington. Strange little town in the south east of Washington State. And then I studied in London, and at a place called Lambda, which is one of the best joints on earth, really, to study acting. And then that's where I booked my first film, and then kind of the rest is history.
Yeah, man. You spoke about my age, and I'll tell you this. Are you familiar with Layla's birthday?
Leela's birthday? I
Yeah.
know, I don't know her. I can't remember her actual birthday, but I know that she's about 3 years younger than I am.
Me and her are born on the exact same day, the exact same year.
Oh, so you're like 42.
41.
41. Okay.
Yep. And so I'm right there with you. I grew up during the Michael Jackson dance era, but I got to give you credit and courage. Ain't nobody want to see me dance. Seeing me dance would be like seeing a slug on ice skates. It just ain't happening the right way you want it to happen. So dancing wasn't going to be my thing, but I'm very glad that it was a way to catapult you into doing some great artwork. But besides your acting, you're doing producing, you're doing animation, you're writing, and you're talking about doing reality TV. Talk about how the arts has expanded your diversity in creating entertainment.
Absolutely. Well, I think, listen, I think when somebody has an artistic heart like you do, like I do,
Right.
Sometimes we feel like, okay, so then I'm going to be a dancer, I'm going to be an actor, I'm going to be a writer, I'm going to be a director, I'm going to be a graphic artist, I'm going to be a painter. Like people sort of jump into a certain category of what kind of artist they are. But the truth is that if you scratch that itch a little bit, a lot of the arts kind of speak to the same part of your brain and your soul, like for me, writing, when I sit down and write something and I really craft something and put my heart, soul into it, I get just as much out of that as I do from my acting.
Really?
Sure. And sometimes even more, because, with acting, I'm limited to the parameters of what's handed to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
I'm not, you listen, just a quick little story, which will kind of be interesting to some people that may watch this. Like when I first auditioned for the show, I auditioned for Tommy, right?
Really?
Yeah. And I think most people would agree that like they're not going to look at me and go, oh, it's Tommy, But that being said, I'll be honest with you. If you met Joe Sikora in life and you talk to him for a minute, he's not like Tommy either. He's definitely created a character which is incredible. And
Right.
so that's when I went and met Courtney and all that. But right away, it was kind of like a bit of an organ reject for me, where it was like, this isn't really my casting.
Right.
And then I got a few weeks later, I came back for Greg Knox, which was Angela's boyfriend.
Right.
And that was a little closer, maybe a little too squeaky clean, sort of thing. But Andy Bean nailed it. And then I got the breakdown for Cooper Saxe. And here's the thing that's interesting. As soon as it said he's a prick, he's he's privileged, smug, like all the sort of things that it kind of laid out about him. I was like, oh, this is my part. And it's funny because I don't really think that I'm any of those things. I'm not like some highly educated, highly privileged dude, but that's irrelevant, man. When I walk in the door and I open my mouth, and that's what people see.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I was like, okay, this is my casting. This is like my first circle of casting. I can, of course, branch out, do other things, but immediately that's how people see me. And that's a great weapon to have. And sometimes also it can be a hindrance because a lot of people want to do other stuff. So my point is as a writer, I can write anything I want. There's the sky's the limit when it comes to my acting. Until I'm a huge star, and people go, what do you want to do? We'll just we'll build something around you, or offers start coming in, and I can just go, no, I don't want to do that. I want to do this, and people go, yeah, hey, we got Shane. Let's just make it happen. Until that comes, God willing, I'm kind of, to a degree, I have to work with what's handed to me. I can't, you know what I mean? So like, I'm not writing Cooper Saxe.
Right.
Now, granted, it is a marriage because the writers see me and see what I'm doing with the part, and so then they write to my strengths, and we kind of like it becomes a dance between me and the writing team, sort of as the character organically grows over the years. But mostly it's the writers, you know.
And from what I've learned, um, a lot of actors tend to play the complete opposite of who they are extremely well. I know a lot of people who've said that they could never envision themselves being a villain. You just told us and everybody that you're not a prick, but the character you play, you was able to embody him to a point where you made the audience extremely polarized. They loved you, they hated you, and now it looks like they're going to be loving you again. And we'll get to that later on in this interview. And that's a testament to the work you put in your craft. But for you to say you're not a big star, hold on, let me pump the brakes on you on that one. You've been acting. You started in Private Ryan in 1998. And from then till now, you're credited with almost 60 different projects. And so I had to do some digging, Mr. Shane. I found something you did in 2003. Let's take a quick look at it. We should have seen you coming because this was you in the making. Talk to me. That is Black Cadillac from 2003. You played Scott. And hey, I can look at that and tell you was ready to do something. You was knocking on the door of Hollywood like, let me on in there. Talk to me a little bit about what your experience was doing that film.
Man, that was so much fun. That was maybe my second time starring in a movie, like as the lead character. And it was just so much fun to really get the opportunity to really craft a. Can you? Started as we have a little hiccup there.
Sorry about that.
No, it's all right. Are we back?
Yep.
Yeah. So just getting the opportunity to craft a whole character arc and relationships and to carry a movie, to carry a movie like that was so much fun. And the director, John Merlowski, who also wrote it, is a good friend. And Jason Doring, who played my little brother, he's got an incredible career going for him too, from Veronica Mars to that Vampire Immortal show. I can't remember the name of it, The Originals maybe, or something like that.
Right.
But they've and then obviously Randy Quaid, who's infamous at this point. But we had a great time, and I actually think most people that have seen that movie, that it kind of has a cult following. People really enjoyed it, and like another, I've done a couple of these movies that it's weird, when you do them, you think. And I can't tell you, man, most actors have these moments many times in their life where they do something and they're like, okay, this is the thing that's going to put me on the map. And you just know it. You're just like, oh, this is it, man. I'm killing this part. I'm putting everything into it. Wait till people get a load of me. And then, nothing happens. And so there's a little bit of right place, right time for some things. I mean, the same thing with Power, right? Like Power was very unique in the Stars universe. Stars hadn't produced anything like Power. They were doing like Da Vinci's Demons and Spartacus and
Outlander
and Spanish Queen and Black Sails, pirate shows. And it was like all kinds of like historical dramas. And then all of a sudden they do a contemporary urban drama with sex and violence and drugs and all that kind of stuff. And it puts them on the map.
Right.
So you just, you just never know. You never know. I mean, when this thing started, we were just hoping to get a couple seasons and just hoping that we caught an audience. We had no idea.
It turned out well. And that's a good transition point to get me onto that roadmap of Power. So talk to me a little bit about how do you go about selecting the roles you play? So what was it that made you say, this Cooper Saxe, I think I can do this? What was the mindset for you to select that role?
Well, I think the most important approach for me when it comes to Cooper Saxe is to not judge him.
Okay.
And I think that's true for a lot of these dark hero sort of characters. I'm not saying that I'm a dark hero. I'm kind of more like an antagonist or whatever. But in reality, every character is the hero of their own story.
Right.
Nobody in life, very few people I would think are actually evil, right? Most people think I'm the good guy, and they justify their behavior.
Exactly.
So it's a matter of thinking that I'm right. I just think I just kind of have that arrogance, but I don't go around going Cooper Saxe is arrogant. It's nobody goes I'm arrogant. What they do is they go I'm smarter than all these guys, and they just kind of know that they're smarter than them, and they just think they just kind of have better ideas, and they feel justified in their behavior. And so that's how I have to approach Cooper Saxe. He thinks he's doing everything right, in the grand scheme of things. He doesn't think he's a jerk. He just is, you know? And so for me, my approach to him is I love him. I'm like, man, this guy's doing everything right, and he's making good choices, and it's the system that's broken. It's not him, and
Right.
and so that justification is the only way I can play it, because if I judge him, then then as an actor, when I play Cooper Saxe, I've got to kind of act at something.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Right. I completely understand what you're saying.
It's like if you hate, for a random example, if you're playing Donald Trump and you hate Donald Trump, then how do you play that part other than to just mock it? You know what I mean? How do you really sink into it and make it believable that you're playing that character if you're completely judging it the whole time? So you got to kind of twist your mind to kind of, maybe that's a bad example. You're going, God, Donald Trump, maybe, but it's.
I'm going. If you spray tan me properly, add 60 more pounds to me, give me that nice funny hairdo. Even though I hate his ass, I can show you a good Donald Trump.
Yeah,
but
you'd have to do it. You'd have to do it by not judging him, by going, hey, I'm Donald Trump. I own the world. Everything. He actually just believes those things. He doesn't think he's an asshole. He just is.
Right.
And
right.
I mean, or if you're playing Ghost, now some people might go like, okay, so I'm playing a serial killer, a drug dealing serial killer, womanizer, cheats on his wife, not the best father, kills his friends. You could do that, or you could just be like, hey, this is a man doing what he has to do to survive. You know what I mean? And that's the way you have to approach it.
And a lot of the fans did approach it in that manner. That's how they view the individual characters. And you guys built such, it's cult-like the way the following has been for this show. And that's something I want to transition you to now. I've got a clip from the original Power, and you were in it. I'm going to take a look at that, and then I'm going to ask you one or two questions about how you felt about the scene and just what it was like to be acting around these other two actors. Take a quick look.
I did that shit. Killed Angela, and you ain't never gonna get me for it. So adios, motherfucker.
You saw him kill her, didn't you? You can put him away. All you have to do is testify. Don't you want him to fucking pay for what he did?
He didn't see shit.
Fuck. No. What the fuck? No, please.
You should have stayed away from my son, man.
Harry, left the pen out there for Tommy. Tommy killed Proctor and your partner because he was going to snitch on him, not you.
Saxe ain't law enforcement anymore, but with Proctor and Angela dead, he's the last person we got on the inside. We own him now. He deserves a bullet.
Wow. So, wow. Talk to me about how did you put your mindset to be in that kind of chaotic environment, and what was the experience like working with those two wonderful actors, Amari and Joseph?
Yeah, well, they're both good friends, and I relished the opportunity to get to work with them both like that, because that was, I think, one of the only scene where I got to work with both of them at the same time like that.
Right.
Obviously, when I first read that scene, I was a little bit like, wait, I'm dying? I didn't know I was dying. Like, nobody told me.
That's what we thought. I wasn't ready for you to go yet. Like, you got on my nerves. You played the hell out your role. But I wanted you to continue antagonizing them. As you said, you're great antagonists. And I wanted you to continue doing that. So I honestly was happy that you didn't die in that moment.
Well, thank you. I am too, man. But working with them both was just great. They just, I felt like it was such a wild scene, and I was in such a state that scene required like just a high level of energy output from start to finish. Because as you remember, if you remember, that scene starts really like I'm looking at like porn on my computer, and like,
Yeah.
and then they bust in and my pants are down and I'm like, oh man. And Bart Weinrich directed that. He's also one of our producers, and you know, I thought we just did a great job with the scene. And physically it was tasking, having the
Right.
bag over my head, and
Mhm.
I mean, obviously it's a stunt, so it's not like I was hurt or in any danger, but it's still physically tasking to, like, be breathing into that bag, and then they be slammed onto the ground, and over and over and over again. We shot it for probably, like, I don't know, it seemed like it was 5 or 6 hours. So it was fun. It was fun, and it was cool too, because a lot of that scene I just got to sit there and watch Joe and Omari act while I was, hanging out in a chair, trying not to die.
Well, hey man, well you knocked that one out the park. And ladies and gentlemen, he talked about some of the physical toll it took on his body. Now would be a good time to say Cooper Saxe is in great shape. Shane Johnson is in great shape. Like, you still might can go out there and knock a home run over Wrigley Field. We paid attention to that. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're following this will be on the podcast as soon as I'm done, about 30 minutes after this. You can go and download the link. It's in the video description. And next Wednesday, someone Shane is very familiar with is coming to check us out. We've got Patton Ashbrook, who
Peyton,
plays
yeah.
Jenny. She's coming next week at 7 p.m. So you guys come there for that. And all the links to Shane's IG, his Twitter, everything you want to know about Shane is in the video description. Check this man out. Follow this man as he's going through. So you knocked it out the park with that power. And you got to keep going on. And now you're living to see Ghost's son, who is the new Ghost. And like I said, you're one of the longest running members that has been on this whole Power cast the whole entire time. So talk to me a little bit about what your relationship is like with 50 Cent and Courtney Kemp. And the fans obviously love your character because you keep figuring out a way. Cooper Saxe is resilient, if nothing else.
Yeah. I mean, Courtney's one of my, closest friends. I love Courtney, and she obviously is, meant so much to me on a personal level, but also just, I mean, I have to acknowledge the fact that she's put me on the map, like you said, I may have done 60 other things, but in reality, it's this Power universe that has made me shine brightest. So I owe that to her and 50 for sure. And listen, 50's the thing that's cool about 50, being around 50, is he's just really inspirational. It's kind of like what I imagine hanging around the Rock would be like. You just got a guy that's
Right.
just a positive. And I know he talks a lot of shit online and stuff. That's just his brand, and he's making noise, and the noise just elevates what he's doing in his brands and all that stuff. But ultimately, he's creative, he's an entrepreneur, and he always has his finger on the pulse. And it's really inspiring to be around, and also inspiring to get you up off your ass. Because sometimes I'm just like, I'll find myself, it'll be noon, and I'm going like, oh, I should probably put some clothes on, and I'm like, 50's probably already got like 3 brands on the line,
Right.
And I want what he's having for breakfast. So he's cool, man. He's cool. Honestly, like, a lot of people may think he would be intimidating, or he would be, mean or whatever. And he's not like that at all. He's chill. We're like the same age, he's a contemporary, and, I mean, he's not around as much now, obviously. But it was fun to have him direct. Fun to have him around. But we used to have table reads, in person, and that was a lot of fun because we always got to hang out and stuff. But now everything's virtual, so we're a little bit more disconnected than we
Gotcha.
used to be.
I find him to be a good businessman. He has a great story. One point in time, he filed for bankruptcy, and he's made a comeback all the way back. And he is, when you say a brand ambassador and a businessman, that is 50 Cent all day. So Much respect. And thank you for sharing those personal stories about him and Courtney. Shout out to both of them if you're watching. I'm here for an interview with you guys too one of these days. Now let's talk.
Courtney's got that incredible, well-deserved deal over at Netflix now.
Right.
Like, just unbelievable. I'm so happy for her. It's like
I'm happy for her too, man. I want to pick her brain apart about that too, because you talk about writing. That's her thing. I mean, that is her thing. And I just can't wait to see what more she's going to do. And I can't wait to see what you're going to be doing with her as well. You bring a whole lot of tools in your Batman tool belt that could certainly be of use with her. And I can't wait to see what you guys do as a unit.
Yeah, I would love that. Believe me. I mean, one of my future goals is to work with her in the future. Hopefully over at Netflix or something. Do something like that would be incredible.
Gotcha. Now I'm gonna take us to this season of Power, Book 2. You've made it to season 2. Let's recap a scene and let me get what your thoughts were as you was performing this art for us. Take a look at this.
You had me followed?
You left me no choice. I figured out what you're doing. You're gonna get Epiphany Turner to name Tariq as part of the drug organization. It clears Tasha. That's why you and Davis are making out under the bleachers these days.
I want to get at the truth, Steven. You don't want the truth, but I do. I took an oath.
Fuck your oath. You gotta get Davis Maclean too.
He's not breaking any rules. He's defending his client.
First rule of American politics, it's not the truth, it's how the truth looks.
At that point in time, Tasha was in jail. Stephen Ottman from the DNC was like, look, I need you to do this. Talk to me about the mindset in that scene, what you were portraying, and what it was like to work with that other actor.
Well, Mark Feuerstein, who plays Stephen Ott, he's just like, he's a great friend too. And he's just a phenomenal actor, Mm-hmm. He every time I get to be I've worked with him quite a few times on the show, and he's always brings so much. He's so fun to play off of. There's been some great actors that I've gotten to play with. Obviously Method Man as well has been so much fun to work with. Right. But that scene I really liked because it kind of to me was one of the few scenes where you really kind of see what's making Cooper, what's making his wheels turn, which is that he does want justice. Mm-hmm. And, I think the first maybe 4.5 seasons of Power, the original, everything was by the book. Now, granted, I was a jerk and I was like on the hunt and I was trying to, get promotions and tear down Angela and all that stuff. But when it came to the legal stuff, everything was by the book. Right. And then I had so many L's, I think, along the way that I think I just got sick of it. Cooper Saxe got sick of it. And he was like, you know what? I need to kind of maybe plant a little evidence, maybe fudge the truth just a little bit. And that's a slippery slope, because then you start going like, and then ultimately it got to the point where this law-abiding lawyer who just wants justice, it goes to a whole different brand of justice by picking up a gun at the end of season 6 and marching toward the club to get street justice myself, Mm-hmm. And so then I have this weird relationship with Tariq, because in a way, Tariq saved me because he got there first.
Yep.
And we haven't really talked about that on the show at all. But I think it's one of the things that kind of keeps Cooper Saxe from really going after Tariq hard. Mm-hmm. Because I think he knows he killed his father. Right. But he also knows, like, look, I was about to do that too. And on top of that, he's like, James St. Patrick was a monster, according as far as he's concerned. And so taking him off the playing field is justice of sorts. You know what I mean?
Right. We was able to see that. Like I said, everything that you've done, you've been able to portray pretty much what you needed to us to understand. And we saw that cat and mouse between you and Tariq, even in this last season, still going on with a little bit of cat and mouse. But I think we did see a reckoning in Cooper Saxe. Take a look at this as we start to get to the turn of Cooper Saxe as we're getting down the line.
How was your day?
He asks from the dark side.
Oh, come on. Everyone has the right to a criminal defense. It's in the Constitution. I am a patriot.
You sold your soul to the devil, Saxe.
It's a lease, and he said he's going to give it back.
After she left the prosecutor's office, she landed a teaching gig at Stansfield, where she helped bring on none other than
Reynolds. Wow. Spicy. But she's not a murderer.
It's not what I'm hearing.
Who's on it?
Kevin Whitman. And there was another familiar name on his list of Reynolds advisees. Tariq St Patrick.
Oh, wow. Talk to us about that, Mr. Shane. Let us know what was going on. What were we supposed to see during that scene?
Well, I think. Oops, sorry, dropped the remote.
No problem.
I think one of the things that's tricky with and so much fun to play with that relationship with Peyton, who plays Jenny Sullivan, is that Cooper especially really has feelings for her. And I don't know that they're totally reciprocated. That's for her to decide. But the way it comes across to me is that this guy's kind of going like, man, I would really like to kind of have a relationship here. And he's just kind of like, hey, you remember the arrangement, right? We're just co-workers with benefits, and then leave me alone. But I think I soften her up, and we kind of have these conversations like we just had. And what happens in there is we're manipulating each other and getting a little bit of information about each other that's going to play out and be utilized later. She's getting a little bit of information from me. I'm getting a little bit of information from her. And it seems like it's just, pillow talks, no big deal, bedroom talk. But in reality, it's ammunition that we're kind of getting from each other. And the danger is, that she and I are now at this point on opposite sides of the aisle. We used to both be prosecutors and basically on the same team. And now we're opposing counsel, essentially. She's trying to take down Tariq, and I'm defending Tariq. It's crazy.
Man. Yeah.
And I'm in a circle now. If I find myself in a position where I've been trying to get this family down, and now I'm protecting them,
Now, this is going to be the final recap scene I want you to discuss, because I'm very fearful after what you say in this scene. It's got me thinking about what's going to happen in the new season 3 that's going to be coming real soon. So take a look at this one.
Doing it for you.
Oh, boy. A sign that an actor is doing a great job when it comes with me is if I give you a nickname. If I don't give you a nickname, you're not doing a good job. You had a nickname with me that was punk ass Cooper Saxe. That means you was creating so much emotion in me. I was mad. But now I like Cooper Saxe. And in that scene you just had with Patton, I've got to say, one of you two are going to die. And I'm worried that you're changing your life because it seems like you want to clean things up. But more importantly, it seems like this woman has put the spell on you, and she's the driving force for you doing right. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, I think that at his core, Cooper Saxe does want justice, right? And it doesn't quite sit right with him that he's defending. And by the way, a lot of lawyers have to do this, so it's a real thing. Like, a lot of lawyers are going, well, I'm defending my client. I'm defending whoever, OJ or
right.
You know what I mean? It's like you know that. But you're doing your job, and you're going, hey, I got to give him a good, run here. And so I think that doesn't totally sit well with Cooper. And I feel like also he has that bone, that like a dog with a bone when it comes to the James St. Patrick sort of legacy aspect of it. Right. And I think he wants that W. But then at the same time, like with Peyton there, I think that I think that his heart kind of being wrapped up with her a little bit. He wants to see her win too.
Right. Right.
Because he's seen her get crushed in court, embarrassed in court, like multiple times in season 2. So I think he's kind of at the point now where he's like he's just feeling for her. And you know, listen, with the smartest thing for Cooper Saxe to right now would be to go, hey, you know what? It's not working out, and go get on like Tinder and just go get some action on the side. But you know what I mean?
Wait a minute. No, wait a minute. Jenny is a good girl. And she's another one that got a nickname from me because when Jenny went after Yaz, that was some intense acting. I was so hot with Jenny. I have a young daughter now. I waited to my 40s to have my first child. So I'm sitting up there. I'm looking at that could be my daughter. And Jenny was attacking her. And she took these L's kind of in retribution to some of the things she did to Yaz. And to see her in pain, I get it. But some would even say that Cooper Saxe done put that cape on now, Shane. He's put the cape on. He's trying to save this young lady from what could have been a meltdown. Any of that going on here?
Yeah. I mean, I think that he, you know, you're saying, is he like Captain Save-A-Ho here or something? But
that's extreme.
Yeah, that's extreme. I don't think it's that. I think it's more like listen, I think that he has two things going. He has his heart involved with Jenny Sullivan. And then on the other side, he really does want justice.
Okay.
He knows some of the stuff that Tariq has done. He knows that the Tejadas are involved in some of this stuff. He knows what the St. Patrick family did. You know, it's funny though, in the finale, I thought that people would come around. It's funny because I never know how the audience is going to respond. I thought that people were going to be like, "Oh, Cooper Saxe, you did a solid. You did a solid because I helped out Tariq and I reunited Yaz with Tamika Washington, played by Quincy Tyler Bernstein, who's amazing.
Yeah.
And we kind of bring Yaz back and reunite her with Tasha and sort of tie up that problem for Tariq so that he doesn't have to stress about it anymore." And I thought people were going to be like, "Oh, Cooper Saxe, you did a solid." But once I had that pillow talk scene with Jenny Sullivan, people were like, they were like, "No."
Well, here's the thing. I think people have forgotten. Cooper Saxe over these years has had to endure a lot of shit. I mean, a lot. We talk about people getting the ride off and have a happy ending. Why can't Cooper Saxe have the same thing? There have been people on this show who have done way worse things than Cooper Saxe has done. And I think at some point in time, Cooper Saxe wants to go back to who he really is. He's done some things that was outside the ethical bounds. But at this point, I think Cooper Saxe is just like, you know what? I need to get my life together. This seems to be a great woman. And who knows where they could go with that? Maybe Cooper quit Davis Maclean, go back and work on the same side as Jenny. Maybe he'll get out of law altogether. But if I had to slam down my prediction, I hate to say this, but I think one of those two characters is going to kick the bucket next season. It's just a matter of which one.
Yeah, you know, it is funny how because I'm a big fan of these types of shows.
Right.
Like Dexter was one of my favorite shows.
Great show.
And if you really break it down, you're rooting for this serial killer. I mean, granted, you might go, well, yeah, but he's justified. But he's like every week he was killing somebody.
Right.
And you kind of just you're just like, yes, he got him, you know, and it's violent, and you know, but and it's funny, I get so many communications like this, but I thought this one summed it up pretty well. Someone said a comment that I thought was hysterical. He says, "Shane Johnson, here you go yet a damn again. You were after Tariq, you were after Ghost, Tariq, and now Tariq again. Will you please let Michael Rainey Jr. sell drugs and kill people in peace? By the way, that woman is no good for you." So I thought, would you just let him kill people and sell drugs in peace? I thought, and that kind of sums up the show. You know, people are like, if you really break it down, Cooper Saxe is trying to get justice and take the bad guys down. But when you love the bad guys, and that's that's why they're like dark hero shows, you know,
Right.
And they're my favorites. So I get it. It's like watching The Sopranos, you know.
Not only that, but when I was young, I used to watch wrestling, and this liking the bad guy started with Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's where it started at, and it's Kareem in the TV. And I coined a phrase for Tariq because it seems like he didn't never had a car, and he was always on the run. So me and one of my partners came up with the term for Tariq. He should go in contract business with Reebok and name the shoe Reek Box. And having said that, I have the fan who has one question for you. The fan that helped me come up with that name, the Reek Box, for all the Renner Tariq doing. Mr. Shane, I give you living legend Larry.
Hey.
How you doing, Shane?
I'm great.
Oh man, it is good to see your smiling face. I personally think that Cooper Saxe is one of the best characters on there. He has been one of my favorite characters for a long time. So I am happy to speak with you.
Happy to speak with you too. Thank you, man.
So it's funny because probably one of the reasons why your character is so special to me is my mother actually is a former prosecutor, and I have seen some of the struggles that you've gone through on this show. You know, your character's gone through trying to get the bad guys and trying to do it within the law, and she finally got frustrated as well and left and went into private practice as a defense attorney. So I get that journey that your character's been on. But I'm curious, I would like to know if you could take your character, because it seems like the whole Power universe has exploded. You have the original Power and Ghost 2 and Raising Kanan and Tommy's new show. Where would you like to go with your character if you can take him anywhere in the Power universe?
Well, two things. One would be, I think it would be really fun to do like a fucked up spin-off with Method Man, you know, where we're just kind of playing both sides of the law, you know. And I think it's hysterical, and you know, every time Method Man meets with anybody, or you know, Davis Maclean meets with anybody, he's like, okay, well, give me my money by tomorrow. And it's always like $1 million or $500,000. It's never. I'm like, these numbers are insane. Like, what kind of money is this guy pulling in? You know, and sometimes he'll go like, I need $1 million by Thursday, or I'm not going to help you. And he'll get the $1 million. And then like by Friday, he's wrapped the case up. I'm going like, what is he getting? Like $250,000 an hour? It's crazy. It's crazy. And then I like, you know. Anyway, but when it comes to so that, I think that will be a lot of fun. Plus, I love working with Method Man. He's such a great actor and such a great. I mean, we're great friends, but he's just such great energy that he brings to the set. He just elevates everything, and he's positive, and he's just a great guy. And so that'd be a lot of fun to work with him. But the other thing would be that I think would be kind of poetic is I'm imagining season 4, something like that, find a reason to go over to Force and because like we rediscover that he's alive or something. And so I would maybe go over to Force and then tangle with Tommy a little bit, and then he gets rid of me.
No, that's how you want to go out. Can't get rid of you. Can't get rid of you now.
Well, I mean, I could just listen. If I have to go, I would. If somebody said, "Hey, who do you want?" You're gonna die. So
choose your death.
Who do you want? Yeah, choose your death. I just feel like it would be poetic. First of all, he wanted to before,
right?
And so it would be. There's opportunity for some great dialogue. Like, I've had this one with your name on it for a while, or what, you know, something. Been waiting for this, you know. So I just think that would be poetic. If one of these kids takes me out, it's just
Oh
like,
no,
what?
no.
I'm a ninja.
You know what I would love to see if you went over to Force? I would love to see it where it's set up like Tommy's going to take you out. And for some reason, somehow you end up saving Tommy and now he can't do it. Just somehow you end up saving him in the course of doing your work and now he can't do it. Now he's conflicted.
Right.
That'd be cool. Did you guys watch the pilot or the premiere of Force?
Of course.
We did, yeah.
Of course.
Man.
Are you getting Soprano or maybe what Succession type vibes from the way that story started out, Shane?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think the reality is initially what they have to do is just lay the groundwork for like what is this story going to be, and what is he bringing to Chicago, right? Like what is the framework going to look like, and who are the main characters and all that. What I think that they have going for them already right out the gate is it's got that sexiness and all that, and that and the violence and all the they got all the things that they need in terms of the setup. But they have some really great actors over there too, man.
Oh yeah,
Christy Laughlin and
they've got a Shane.
Diamond Isaacs. I don't know if his name. I think his character's name is Diamond. His name's Isaac. He's the big dude that got out of prison.
Yeah.
he didn't even have much to say. I was just impressed with his presence and his ability to have a lot going on in stillness. I always am impressed by that. And then I love Tommy Flanagan, the head honcho boss guy, who's been around forever. I mean, I've loved that dude since Braveheart. You know what I mean?
Right. He was great in that, and Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah.
Sons of Anarchy. He was good in that. Yep. So
he's been around forever. Yeah. So
Larry, I appreciate you.
Yeah, they've got some great actors over there, and I mean it's already a hit. I think I just saw Joe posted something that they had the highest ratings for a premiere on Stars ever.
Yeah.
Well, if they ask you for any ideas when they go back to the writer's room, I know they're supposed to do a show with Lorenz Tate's character. I would love to see the government start investigating his character, the congressman, for his involvement, maybe with Tariq, and have you come on as a special investigator since Jenny has got you back on the straight and narrow. I would love to see that happen, and then you get to go after Tate. Now that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. I mean, it would be interesting. That would be cool. I could see. I mean, listen, there's so many possibilities. I mean, there could be a situation where Tariq saves my ass, or vice versa. I mean, he's in a situation and I save him, and it kind of creates this truce between us. Maybe I could just be legit working with Method Man, going, yeah, you're right. It's all about the money. I have a feeling that's not going to happen though, because that tension between the two of us is too fun to kind of play. So, but I think there's so many possibilities. I listen. This is one of those rare, as an actor, one of these rare, incredible blessings to get to do something for. I'm right now. I'm here in New York. We're shooting season 3 already, and it's like 9 years so far. I mean, I started shooting this in 2013. We started shooting, and it's like my kids have grown up. I had at the time when we started. It's crazy. When we started, I had a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old, and now I've got a 14 and a 12-year-old. They don't even know anything else. They're just like, yeah. Dad just keeps getting on a plane and going to New York. That's
that's cool, man. Larry, I appreciate you, man. I got one more guest that wants to get a question. We'll see you
All right,
soon,
thanks,
man.
Shane.
Nice to see you, man.
All right.
I know you have got to be the hit anytime they need to have Parents' Day at school, because you're a pop culture icon. Pop culture icon.
With some people, it depends. Yeah, it's funny. There are quite a few fans of the show that are, parents or administrators or whatever, teachers, etc. that at the school, they go to a Jewish day school. So my wife and kids are Jewish. So it's not necessarily like the the target audience, but it surprises me sometimes. People will come up and be like, "Hey, man, you're doing a great job on the show. I love you." And I'll be like, "That's really like I had no idea." Like that, like another dad or something who's got his little daughter there, and I'm like, "This is unbelievable that you watch the show." So, I mean, we obviously have fans all over the world. It's crazy.
Exactly. You got to accept the superstar, my man. And another person that loves that superstardom you have is someone who's right around the corner from where you guys are filming. Young ladies and gentlemen, Muchella is in the building to say hello to Shane.
Hi, how are you?
I am fine. You know we love to hate you, right?
No, I love it.
We love to hate you, but you did look out for Tariq this season. You did look out for him.
That's what I keep telling everybody. Nobody.
You did look out for him. I like the fact that you and him may have a truce. That's a good idea. Mm-hmm. Where maybe one of the Tejadas might come after him and he give him a heads up or something. That I could see something like that happen.
Yeah, you're right. It could be a situation where Tariq realizes that he's he needs to play the cards that he's being dealt, because he's playing with fire. You know, he's playing with fire. He's got and Kane, is fire, right?
Yes.
And the whole Tejada family is like, you never know. You saw what happened. You saw what happened in the finale. Like, that's a dangerous family.
Now I look.
And Effie, and not
all of them. He got so many bad people around him.
And Braden
just wants to coming after him too, but no, you looked out for him. Now my question is, before I ask this, I said this was one of my predictions. Like, you're officially starting your 9th life now. I said this the other night. So, do you feel like you're at the, how can I say, the arc of your character right now?
Well, I'll be honest. I know that I get so many comments and so much, DMs and stuff from people going like, "Hey man, I hate you. You need to die. You need to catch a bullet." Or I like you, man. You're a good actor, but you got to go. And a lot of that. But I'll tell you what, as a fan of the show, like if I try to remove myself from it, can I see it like Cooper Saxe, catching his demise in the next season? I mean, sure, that could happen to anybody. But I also do really feel like, and I mean this, like as a fan of the show, I feel like if you take Cooper Saxe off the chessboard, the game gets a little less interesting.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
So I think that, is it possible? Sure. But I think that it's not like the show wouldn't continue to be a success. Of course it would, but it would be missing something.
Yeah, we need to love to hate you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and you could, people go, "Oh, well, you could just replace him with some other character that kind of fills that position." I say, yeah, but you have 9 years of backstory and relationships and turmoil and heat, and you can't just like cast somebody else and have that exist.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So it's hard to, and in reality, Tariq and Cooper Saxe are really the only 2 people that are on the show that have been there since day one.
Exactly. I said that too. You know what else I wanted to ask? Did you make up the line St. Patrick-y?
I wish I did. That was great. There have been some really, really great Cooper Saxe lines.
I hope you don't do anything St. Patrick-y.
I hope you don't do anything St. Patrick-y. But no, that was not my line.
Okay.
I love saying it.
I mean, it flowed so well, so I thought it was you.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier to Lamont, it's one of those things that when we first started the show, episode 1 of Power, I had one line. I was just a dude in the conference room that was like, I think I said, "Congrats on the promotion, Angela," or something like that. I think that was the only thing I said. But I said it with such kind of animosity, and like it didn't really, I was miserable having to congratulate her. You could already see that there was like this relationship, and they just have continued to really build on that energy, and so over the years, that bringing some comedy to the show, I think, is important. It's funny, when I got into acting, I thought that I was going to be a comedian, not like a stand-up comedian, but just doing comedies and stuff. And so it brings me a lot of joy to bring a little bit of levity or comedy, even if it's just like, people hating on like, oh my God, what are you doing? But it has lightness to it. He can be ridiculous. Cooper Saxe can be ridiculous and say stupid things. And, they're always toying with him being so many different things, like a punk or being like racist all the time. And he's kind of like, what are you talking about? He's so fun to play. And they write now, after they get to know the character, the writers go, oh, this is how Cooper Saxe would say this. And so they're the geniuses. And I go, oh yeah, this is great. This is a great line. This is the two St. Patrick line is just, something that Cooper Saxe would say.
Well, you went from one line to saying congratulations to we seeing your abs and you rolling around in the bed with the girl.
I had to show up. It's like they asked me, they said, hey, are you cool with doing some intimate scenes or whatever? And I was like, well, when? And it was, well, a few months from now or whatever. So I was like, well, I got to get ready because listen, I'm on the show with all these kids now. And it's funny because, on Power, most of us, the audience probably, and also like the main cast members, we were all like in the same age bracket.
Right.
Yeah, true.
Jerry Ferrara played Proctor. Omari's like a few years older. 50's about the same age. Joe and I are about the same age. We're all in that same pocket. And so, and now a great, we've kind of built on our audience, and a lot of it's younger. And so sometimes I get people going like, you old ass this and that, I'm like, where's this old ass stuff coming from? And I'm like, oh, that's right. A lot of these guys that are watching the show are like 25,
Right.
And so my point is I was like, if I'm gonna be half naked here on this camera, I got to show up, or these guys are gonna come for me.
Oh yeah,
right.
They already don't like you.
Now, see,
like, they're gonna come for me.
So Shane, what you didn't read was on the very last time that the ladies seen your abs. Some of those same ladies that hated your guts all the way up to that episode, all of a sudden, oh, I like Cooper now. Oh, he's sexy. I like Cooper now. That's how it went.
Cooper Saxe.
I know people be talking about you dancing on Instagram though.
Yeah, I gotta do some more. I gotta do some more of that. I was telling him earlier that dancing was my first love. I love dancing. I would love to get to do a gig where like dancing was an involved part of it. I really love that. But that's my first love from the time I was little tiny.
Gotcha. All right, Mooche, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much. Nice to meet you.
Fan of Shane.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
She's about to go online with her crew on Mrs. K's channel. So please go follow her over there to do Hidden Gems and subscribe to her channel as well, ladies and gentlemen.
And it's Hidden Gems Throwback Night, y'all. We talking about The Wire.
The Wire.
Another classic show.
Exactly. Check them out, ladies and gentlemen. And while you're down there, be sure to go and follow Shane on all his social media. He's got Twitter, he's got IG. And now it's time for me to get ready to get this gentleman on the off ramp so he can get back to doing what he does. So besides Power, what other aspirations would you like to see yourself portraying in Hollywood or other studios? So, for example, would you like to see yourself doing something that is dance related? Would you like to see yourself in the MCU? You like baseball. Would you like to see yourself portraying a biography of a baseball player? What are some of the other aspirations you have in the future?
Well, what I really want to do is more than a specific a specific project, the most exciting thing to me is being creative with like-minded people that I love. So what I want to do is produce some things, write some things, get some things going with my friends, with people that I trust and I know. I mean, I have such a I've been doing this for like almost 30 years now professionally.
Right.
So I've got like a pretty big network of incredible people. And so what I want to do is utilize that network to really make content outside the studio system, because I feel like you get in the studio system and you're just always answering to somebody and they're always looking at like a bottom line. And I think that and the other thing is you look at a lot of the movies that are coming out now, they're either huge, giant, MCU type movies,
Right.
or else they end up on Netflix. It's kind of like that weird dichotomy. So I want to just make great content, and there's so many avenues for content now. But the main thing for me after doing this for so many years is I want to enjoy the experience. I want to do it with great people that I'm already friends with, or people that I know that I would enjoy working with. And that's more exciting to me than anything.
Some of your fans are coming back saying phenomenal acting, Shane. Thank you for keeping us invested in your character, whether we like your character or not. Like I said, him being hated is just a sign of his incredible talent. And would you ever consider Dancing with the Stars?
Oh, yeah, I would love that. I would be terrified, but I don't. Dancing with the Stars is kind of an anomaly to me. I don't quite understand how they pick and choose people. I feel like some of the people they pick, I'm like, what? How did that happen? And then sometimes people surprise you and they're incredible. Like,
right. Emmett Smith surprised me.
Oh my God, he was incredible.
Right.
He won, right?
He did.
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. I knew he had sweet feet on the football field, but I didn't know he could dance. So
yeah.
So, well, ladies and gentlemen, it has been an honor and a pleasure. Shane Johnson, the man that has brought you guys the character you know now as Cooper Saxe. So please go check him out on all the social media links. In about 15 or 20 minutes, you can check it out on the podcast as well. And don't forget, next week, I will have someone that he starred some great scenes with. Patton Ashbrook is going to be here next Thursday, ladies and gentlemen, at 7 p.m. Shane, before I let you go, I got to give you the Hollywood outro because you so desperately deserve it. Here you go. We're wishing you well this year. I'm going to wrap this up, but as soon as I'm done, hold on for just a second. Ladies and gentlemen, until that Net Sex is Hell Life Games video, thank you, Shane. We'll see you guys.